All right. Let's do this. Working on my CodinGame bot. I am currently in Bronze League. Barely. Let's take a look at this here. Let's see if we can play against. There we go. So I'm ranked 3,269th out of 3,496 in the Bronze League. So that's not great. But I didn't implement any of the new rules yet. Still, I was expecting to do better when I crossed over into Bronze. Let's see what happens. All right, so no timeouts. That's always good. So I am accumulating a lot of tier 1. And this is my first potion. I went for 14. This one here. Okay, cool. I'm already behind. This guy was like not learning any spells, obviously. Oh yeah, and you can tell that some spells are quite worthwhile. This one gives you an extra one, so gives you an edge if you get them early. Hey, Billy Clash 2011. How you doing? Okay, so 24, 24, 34, and just blows through me, yeah. So it's probably because I don't have the Bronze League rules implemented yet. And unfortunately, there's so many players that I can only play the top 1,000 in the league. Would have been nice to be able to play against players or bots that are closer to my rank. But I guess that's going to change soon because they're opening up the Silver League today. I don't know at what time, but okay. So maybe a quick recap of what I did over the weekend because I didn't stream it. Last Friday we left off. I didn't get to work on the bot all that much on Thursday and Friday. I did stream some of that work though. So last Friday, I was in Wood League 1 with a super dumb bot. There's just like a few rules. It would, I think basically look for the highest paid client order and just try to fill that up. But it would get into soft locks and it wasn't perfect it's far from perfect. But it got me way up in Wood League 1. And I left Friday, and that was it, right? That was the situation. I woke up Saturday, and I had been bumped into bronze overnight for some reason. I was pretty close to the boss in Wood League 1, so I guess stuff happened in the arena, and it was enough to put me over the top. And so on Saturday, I ended up in bronze, but with a pretty crappy bot. Like I said, none of the bronze rules were implemented, and it would also get into soft locks. Like sometimes it's just like it would cast spells, fill up the inventory, and then it was stuck, right? And so my rank was like 3,280 or something like that, way at the bottom of bronze, right? So Saturday, what I decided to do is implement an MCTS Monte Carlo tree search algorithm. But I had already started a little bit on Friday with only the rules from Wood League 1 in mind. So I kept going with that. I pretended like I wasn't in bronze yet, and just implemented it with the with League One rules, thinking that in any case it would do much better than what I had. And for some reason it didn't. Like I updated it, I pushed it, and I probably gained like 20 ranks, if that. So that's kind of weird to me, but because my other bot was like way worse. When I played my older bot against my new MCTS one, the MCTS one like wipes the floor with it. Obviously, because half the time my older bot would just get into a soft lock. So I don't know how that translated to not going up in the rankings, but whatever, doesn't matter. One crazy thing I did on the weekend that took up a bunch of time and it was like super unnecessary but fun is basically recreate the game in the browser with a little bit of JavaScript and a little bit of React. And of course, the UI sucks, but it's it's kind of fun. So I started off by making like the game so you could play it like you could play both sides. Like you could play with a friend, basically local, right? Um, but then when I coded my MCTS bot, I hooked it up. So now the bot plays the red witch, and I can play the blue witch if I want. So this is a new game. No, okay, let's make this a new game. And so I'm gonna select. So these are your spells, right? This is your inventory. Of course, the UI is crap, but this is resting, and these are the client orders at the bottom. And I just represent the delta value for all of these. This is your score right here. The number of orders filled, I put there, which I think they should have also in the UI in the game, but whatever. So okay, so the game usually you both players select their moves, their actions at the same time, right? Without knowing what the other one does, but I had to implement it a little bit differently here. So you basically select what you want, right? So okay, so I selected the action cast to 0000, and then after that, the my bot selected this one. See, cast -1110. Then I can just hit next turn. That those actions are applied, as you can see. The inventory was updated, and then it can go, keep going, and and so on. So I played around with that. It was really useful though with just debugging the bot and finding a few little bugs and quirks and things that weren't quite right. And it's cool because I'm writing my bot in JavaScript, TypeScript. So running this allows me to debug my code live and see the results live. So that's pretty neat. Anyways, that was fun. Probably like way overkill, but all right. So at this point, let's try to make this bot a little better and see if we can go up in the rankings. Now I'm gonna where do I go if I want to know when? Oh, there we go. League opening 11/16/20. So that's today. Oh, what time though? No idea. Okay. Because that's probably gonna shake things up a little bit. Okay. So one of the things that might, oh yeah, so I'm logging some stats here. It would be useful to maybe add where do I put this thing? Maybe just add a line break. So I was playing around with Vim the entire week, and there's a lot to like about it, but I don't know, so I turned it off, and now I'm always reaching for all those shortcuts, and it's kind of funny. So yeah, that should do it right. If we just do it that way. I'm gonna stop this for the moment. I'm gonna build this and push it to let's this one and npm run build. And that should update our code automatically. Oh, right. Okay. All right. Let's test it against, I guess that's the lowest player I can use. Oh no, submitted code is too big. Yeah, knew I was going to run into that. It's a bummer. It's always been a problem. Okay, so one thing I could probably do, I'm just going to take a look at my, it's being outputted there. Yikes. Oh, is it doing that really? Well, of course. Right. Let's get rid of that. We don't want the minimize goal used exports unless I have to change it here. Source map to false, maybe. Where's that? Gonna fix our problem. But then that might screw up when I try to debug. We'll figure it out. No, still there. So let's bring that back in then. Oh. Inline, emit a single file with source maps instead of having a separate file. Emit the source alongside the source maps within a single file. I guess that is what's going on. But I think there's probably an option in Webpack where I can deal with this. But you know what? At the moment, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to go minimize true. For now, it's not like anybody's going to be looking at my compiled code unless I get really high in the rankings. Because technically your code's supposed to be readable, the code you submit. Yay. Now, let's see what happens. Okay. So here we go. Still getting my butt kicked. But let's see if we can glean anything from this. Can I put this full screen? Yeah, but I don't have the... Oh well. So, start off going for... Okay, so now I'll get my stats here. As you can tell, the first, and right now it's like a really kind of basic Monte Carlo tree search algorithm, vanilla. There's no like lookup tables. I'm not saving anything. It just runs, like, give it a state and it runs from scratch every time. So the first turn, there's a full second, right? You've got a full second compute time. So it's pretty bad compared to probably some of the implementations that are out there in Rust or C++, or probably have like tens of thousands of simulations. But anyways, so it ran on the first turn 4,700 simulations. It went to a depth of 16. And these are the two options that we get. And it chooses this one because apparently there's a higher percentage win Although with so few simulations, it's not that trustworthy of a stat, I guess. But all right, so let's keep. Oh no, I don't want to. Let's keep going one at a time. All right, so we did that, and the opponent did the same thing. And next, we went for, and you can tell like the number of simulations goes way down once you go with only 50 milliseconds. Now that's really not a lot. Right, and the choice to rest on the second turn like that is dubious. Yep, to say the least, right? And the rest option was slightly better than casting the other spell, apparently. But anyways, let's keep going. What did the other guy do? Yeah, he casted the second tier spell there. Okay, so that's interesting. Oh, even less simulations, 341. That's like, and then okay, filling up with tier 1. And on the other side, you can tell like he just used up all of the spells before even thinking of resting. No, he's resting. -10, whatever that means. Okay, so I'm being a little smarter here, maybe. So we're basically neck to neck, right? If we've got the same inventory and I'm about to rest, so we're very close. Okay, so he's ahead of me. One conversion, but I have all my spells available right now. So it's okay, so let's keep going. Just keep going with that. So now he's resting. Okay, so yeah, we're really close. But of course, it's just the beginning. But at this point, we could say that you can't tell if there's if anyone's like way ahead. What my choices were here, cast this. Okay, so I went ahead and decided that brewing was the best course of action here. Apparently, that node wins 72% of the time. And the other ones they're lower, but again, 390 simulations is not a lot, I think, anyways. I didn't take time to look at the entire state space and all that stuff, but okay. So, and he's still accumulating his stuff. He hasn't done any learning yet. Okay. What did I just do? I decided to rest. Yeah, see, that's a weird choice. Yeah, was it here? Yeah, here. But, okay, so boom, 21. How the heck did that happen? I don't, oh, right, there's the bonus thing, right? So I'm not taking that into account. And when I went for 11. What? How do I? Oh, yeah. Okay, so I went for the fourth one from the left. now he's building again. Oof, yeah, he's going for 21. I guess he chose the one with 11 plus 3 again. And I'm going for, which one was that? The very last one for 12. Does that make sense? No, that's not right. Brew -2, so brew 70. Where's 70? Oh, 70. 70's here, okay. So that's 15. There's no bonus involved. Okay, so at this point, we're still, I wonder what those are, 82. So we still have the same amount of potions that we're brewing. We're pretty neck to neck in terms of that, but he's getting more points. And which one is he gonna brew now? Yeah, again with the one with the most. So that, wait a second, that doesn't make sense. Oh yeah, 15, okay. 50. Hey Vladinson, how are you? I'm lagging far behind right now. Okay, I went with 66, which is this one here. 35. And so not only is he brewing a little like higher valued stuff, he's brewing it a little faster than I am now. Very interesting. Now, as the game nears the end, you can tell my number of simulations is increasing. And the bot also knows that it's not looking good. I wonder where where it starts losing confidence. Oh boy, okay, okay, we still have a chance. No, not much. Yeah, about here, yeah, that's interesting. So we're pretty much like we're at 50-50 here. The bot says, we've gotta, I don't know if we can win. And then once we get there, yeah, you got to bronze, but you stopped there. Yeah, I also got to bronze, but I'm way at the bottom of bronze. Okay, and this is where it's not starting to look too good. Yeah, the minute he brewed that one, boom, the bot was like, "Oh no, I'm screwed." Like, there's no more winning. And then it's just like, oh, then I get hopeful. Like, maybe. And nope. Interesting. So, yeah. What can I do to improve? There's obviously the problem of like this being in JavaScript and not, being super fast and not running a lot of simulations. So that's going to be a hard one to tackle. There's a few things I could probably do. One of them is maybe object pooling, because if I look at the code, let's see, although I think when I do my simulations, I think I just mutate the state. Yeah. So that's not too bad. When I expand tree nodes, though, I make a full copy of the state. And that can be expensive. I create new objects. So there might be some gains there if I use some kind of object pooling strategy. I don't know. Then there's the, I could possibly represent the state with bitmaps, bit strings, or bits, whatever. But the state is kind of complicated in this game. It's not just like a 2D grid with a few flags. It's just a bunch of lists and stuff. So I don't know how viable that would be, or it would be complicated anyways. Yeah, so maybe just implementing the Bronze League rules would help me. Oh, and there's one thing I wanted to do. I need to update my deck. Well, not the actual deck, but let's see. Right, remove orders in the shop from the deck. Okay. So right now, I basically copied the deck from the game's code. Not using the tome yet, just the client orders. And there's a finite amount of client orders, right? And their value is static. It's not random. It doesn't change. The order, though. Hey, thanks for the follow, man. Monster Love Games. What they do is at the beginning of the game, they take this list of all the brew actions and they shuffle it. And once that's done, then they just keep popping off that list, right? So I'm kind of doing the same thing. Now, the difference is um, I'm like obviously not going to have the same order of items that they do. So what I need to do in order to improve a little bit the look ahead of the Monte Carlo tree search algorithm is make sure that I update every turn, seeing whatever came out here. Like I know these are part of that list, right, of that deck. So if I'm aware of these, I can take them out of the remaining deck. So at least my simulations will not consider client orders that are passed and are not going to come out in the future. So I don't know that it's going to make a huge difference, but it'll make the simulations that much more accurate. Not much more, but a bit more likely to be accurate. So let's just do that. So what I need to do here is given right. Just make sure that my deck has none of the client orders. So I can just, let's just do this really naive kind of. So for each order, let's say, in client orders, there goes the Vim shortcuts. Yeah. Right. So what I want to do then is find the index in the deck. So deck.clientorders.find index. Although I couldn't. Yeah, it's probably the fastest way to do this. So let's call that deck order. And then we're looking for a deck order that, oh, I can't use the IDs, right, because I don't have the, so I'm going to have to compare them. I'm going to have to compare their deltas and price. Oh, that's a pain. Okay, so that would be delta. Oh yeah, I'm going to need to write another function for this. Because I'm not going to do that in line. That's just insane. Function. I could probably shove that straight on the action. Where did I put this thing? ingredients, player, state, maybe. Oh yeah, there we go. Action. I've got a copy. Let's make an is equal to another action. All right. Let's do that. That's going to return a Boolean. Bro, can you teach Mr. Coding? Me coding? By the way, I also use coding. Cool. Can I teach you coding? Sure. Just watch and learn, I guess. I don't know. What are you, what language are you coding in for the contest? Okay, so then teach me too. Yeah. I don't know how much I could teach you guys. I don't know how far along in your career and learning you are, but don't be shy to ask any questions. Okay, so what am I doing? Yeah, so if I want to compare the deltas, so the delta has a tuple, right? And I want to, I guess, in JavaScript, how, oh, that's just gross. Okay. Let's just do that. There's no other way I can think of off the top of my head. I is smaller than, well, we know they're length 4, so let's just hard code it because this isn't actual business code and I don't care. Python or Java? Cool. I haven't worked with Python a lot, just fiddle with it a little bit, tiny little bit. Java, haven't worked with Java a lot either, but I have worked a lot with C# and TypeScript and Java is very similar to C#. So I feel like I'm not totally lost, when I need to go do stuff in Java. Python's another thing though. Syntax is a bit different, and it's a little harder. I end up having to look at the documentation a lot more. I want to learn Python more. Right. And why is that? Machine learning. Python's really popular for machine learning stuff. AI. Right, so I need to compare this dot delta dot tuple. I want to make sure that it's equal to the other delta. Right, so I don't know if I asked before, but I'm not sure what to do with my life. Software dev or game dev, it's difficult for me. Well, I can't, make life decisions for you. Depends what you are looking for out of life and your work, and whether you like working 120 hours a week and being paid for 30. Yes, that is a jab at game development. Like, everyone wants to be a game dev, right? It's not even a question. Pretty much every starting young man that wants to go into coding, I can't say for women who want to go into coding, but pretty much every young man that I know that is thinking about being a programmer is wanting to be a game developer, and it looks like so much fun. But do your research. it is not where you'll get the most money, I think. And the working conditions aren't that great. And I'm generalizing here. Obviously, you could probably find something that's, great, but it seems to be harder. It, there's that because everybody wants to go into game dev. People are willing to work in that industry for less money and worse working conditions because it's their dream to work on games, right? So you lose a little bit of your bargaining power if you're looking to get into that industry. Whereas into the business world side of programming, there is such a lack of employees, right? There's like way more demand than supply. So you can find good working conditions, decent salary. Well, not everyone. I have a lot of friends which don't prefer continuing with programming, and most of those who are going forward don't like games that much. Well, don't know why. Yeah, of course, that's what happens when you generalize, right? But so let's say all, but a large proportion maybe would love to work on games. Um, okay. Fish emoji. Never seen that one. I don't know what it means. Okay, so is this the right way to go about it? Let's say it is real hard, but you have more pleasure doing it. Yeah, it's not a kid dream for me, more like high school one, and it's not that well paid, but I think it gets more satisfaction getting it done. Hmm. Yeah. How old am I? 41. Turned 41 last week. Yeah, I'm not liking this. I'm not liking where I'm going with this. This is ugly. Ugly imperative code. I'd have to do something like that where, let's say, uh, unless the minute, yeah, I could try this. Okay, let's do that. If it's not equal, yeah. So if it's not equal, it's just return straight away with a false. So we go through the entire thing. Then all I need to check is that the score is also, uh, no, the price. The price is equal to other price. I guess technically, since this is kind of a general interface, I have to check more than that. I've got to check also the and what about if I have games like second projects personal or something? Let's say the job will be a software dev or tech support. Would you recommend learning more C++? Because that's what I know. Or getting into Java, Python, C# for more OP stuff and try to make projects for portfolio. Yeah, it really depends what you prefer, what you think you're gonna like. Um, and yeah, if you're pragmatic, which is horrible thing to say. Maybe like I should probably say follow your dreams and whatnot. But um, like if you're really serious about getting into game dev as a programmer, you'll probably want to stick to with C++ and get a CS degree. Um, if you're thinking about going more the business side of things, then C++ is like it's a low level thing. You can get into systems, um, software, more specialized stuff. It's C++ is good to know. So I don't think that you should necessarily abandon it, but I think what will have the most marketability, right? Like what's going to make it easier for you to find a job in the business world of programming is knowing a high level object oriented programming language. So Java, C Sharp would be the two that come to mind for business backends. You can add on to that because there's so much front end work now, and there's a lot of programming happening in the front end now as opposed to before. JavaScript, TypeScript, if you're going to have to do stuff in the browser. And I mean, web apps are here to stay, I think, and they seem to be growing. There's a real need for programmers that know how to write good, clean TypeScript and JavaScript code. So yeah, that's if you ask me and you want to make it as easy as possible to find a good job, go with something with like C Sharp, Java, and TypeScript, JavaScript. But that's highly subjective, right? You could ask somebody else the same question and they'd answer something different. Okay, so we're checking to see if we have the same delta. We're checking if we have the same price, but I need to, yeah, I need to wrap this in an if statement as well and do the same thing. And kind of didn't think I would say this, but I'm kind of regretting turning Vim off. Return false if the sooner the better. I'm 1-0. 10. What? Okay. And just for the sake of making sense, we're also going to check that the types are the same. Although if the price, yeah, I guess I don't need to do that. All right, so if we get all the way to the bottom here, we can just return true because everything's kosher. This is not super clean, but it'll work. So now I can just do, who's calling me? Can't pick up. It'll be easier to understand some things if you're little. You can try to learn some language because you will develop your logic thinking, and that will be great. Yeah. Oh, 10 years old. Okay. Cool. All right, that's great if you get into coding at that age. I got into coding way too late, unfortunately. So we're looking for deck order that is equal to order. There you go. Much cleaner. So now we've got our index. Let's just save it here. And this variable. Okay. And we're going to if index because what are we using? Find index will return -1 if it can find the item. So I need to check that index is bigger or equal to 0. Yes. Okay. And if it is, then what we want to do is remove that index from the deck. Client orders dot splice We're splicing at the index, and we're splicing only one item. All right, so we're gonna basically iterate through the entire client orders. That's the orders that are on the screen. Look to see if they are equal to anything that's in the deck. If it is, remove it from the deck. Cool. I think that should work. Won't make much of a difference though. If you play games, stop it. Be good in class in your free time after you come home. You can practice, just stop playing. I mean, don't stop at all, just play a little. Yeah. It will destroy you as it did with me. You will regret it and you will remember this. Why you got addicted to video games? It can be, it can really be time consuming. And when you look back at your life and you're like, oh, if all those hours, you know, when you go in Steam and you look at how many time, like how much time you spent on each game, once you start getting into the hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands, I've seen some people, you could master some things with that amount of time. And not that there's anything wrong with playing games. I enjoy playing games. But yeah, if you want to get good at something in life, you need to put in the time. So if your aspiration is to get really good at Call of Duty, then all right. But if you'd rather get really good at playing the guitar or programming or making video games instead of playing them, then you need to take some of that time away from playing games to whatever you're trying to achieve. So, okay, now we're updating the deck. I don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference, but let's try it anyways. I doubt that it's gonna make any difference at all. It might be more useful what I just did once we factor in the tome, the learning, the spell learning. All right, so that's been updated. Let's see if we can change that up a little bit. Play my code. Oh, am I gonna win this one? I think I might just win. Okay, so oh no, your code did not read all available input before printing an instruction. Your outputs will not be synchronized with the game. No. Did I time out? Did I time out just before winning? Oh, come on. That is too bad. So what happened here? Has not provided one lines in time, and I was disqualified on turn number 76. That is unfortunate. I wonder, let's replay in the same conditions and see what happens. Yeah, the way I've got it set up right now is I'm giving my Monte Carlo tree search algorithm the full 50 milliseconds. So probably what's happening is that sometimes, let's go in here, right? I'm still doing some stuff in the main function here, including what I just added here, updating the deck, which, I mean, it shouldn't be too bad, but what's more likely to happen is that inside my Monte Carlo tree search algorithm, I pass in, let's see, this is the top level algorithm here. I pass in the time, which would be 50 milliseconds, right? And then it goes inside, this is a loop. and it goes in here, does its thing. Then it gets to simulate, and I guess, like I didn't do any benchmark, but if simulate takes quite a bit of time, which I mean it shouldn't, but I guess there's a possibility that by the time you get back to the loop, you've overshot that limit quite a bit. So anyways, I'll keep an eye on this, see if it happens often. So I didn't time out on this one. And I won. Pretty cool. So this guy, like, he's really quick out of the gate at building. What are we building here? Let's use the arrows to navigate this thing. Okay, so Hebrews 50. 50, 50, 50. Oh, I gotta one back, yeah. 50, this one here, okay. Which is worth 11. Okay. I want to see how that affects. All right, so my bot is like, yeah, 69, 63% chance of winning, 67, and then it goes down a little bit. And then it probably goes back up once I brew. Yeah. Interesting. Keep going. He's learning, and I'm not. So 30, and so we both brew here. Okay. He brews this one. He's up ahead at 45. I take back the lead at 47. Doesn't do a lot of learning, but some. And then for some reason, is he going to be stuck in some sort of soft lock, or? Because then I just like, boom. Oh, he's still going. I don't know what he's trying to do. Oh, he's probably going for that 12 plus 3 there. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, he's changing them. And meanwhile, what did I just brew? That's a pretty good one too. Well, I mean, 8 plus 1. So I'm at 69. And I guess we're going to run out of turns before we, interesting. Let's play another one against that guy. I don't know what difference does replay in same condition. Oh, it's probably the deck. The deck is probably going to be in the same order, I guess. And the starting, I didn't pay attention, but see, I timed out here again. So I'm gonna have to, oh, that's a bummer. And it's interesting that it happens late in the game, because you would think if there's more simulations. Yeah, this is what's happening. There's more, like I can do more simulations probably at the end. No, 700. I don't know, it's like probably some sort of, the garbage collector is what kills you, right? If the garbage collector decides to kick in the middle of your Monte Carlo tree search, you're screwed. So that's why I'm saying that they can be sometimes. It depends what the cause is. If you're using a managed language, memory managed language like C#, Java, JavaScript, like I am, you don't control when the garbage collector decides to kick in, or it's hard to anyways. And if you're creating a lot of objects, like I think I might be, I'm gonna have to do some benchmarking, but I'm not gonna do that now. Instead, I'm going to see if I can just reduce a little bit. Just reduce a little bit. Let's reduce that to 45 milliseconds instead of 50 and see if that's enough to make the difference. And so we're cutting down on our compute time, which is a bummer. And it's too bad because, right, most of the time we're fine with the 50 milliseconds, but then the garbage collector kicks in at some point and is like, boom, there's one turn where we take like 60 milliseconds, and that's enough to get a timeout. Because there's a little bit of leeway from what I've seen. Like if you go over the 50 milliseconds and you do like 52, 53, I think you're fine. But you can't go like 20 milliseconds over. All right, let's see if I do replay my code, if it's going to be the same setup. 14.3, 10.1, 15, 12, 14. Yeah, it is. Okay. So it's the same deck. And I don't time out, but apparently there's an error. Reduce of empty array with no initial value. Where am I doing that? First time I get that one. Do I want to become famous? Buy followers. No thanks. I'm good. How do I get rid of you? Phenomenon. Oh, whatever. You don't print stuff? I do. I do print stuff. Look, printy, printy. Where am I using a reduce? I am using a reduce. I know exactly where I'm using a reduce. It's not that very many places I am. I am using a reduce in here. And I'm pretty sure that's where it's gonna go wrong. So let's do console.error node.children. That'll tell us if this ends up being null. How could I end up with... I gotta look at this again. What was the situation here? We are turn number 81, 81, 82, and weird. How can I have different files? Magic! Yeah, I know. Okay, so if you didn't know, CodinGame has this little thing here in the settings. Here, see? Use an external editor. And you can point it to a file on your system. And that allows you to basically do whatever you want. You can just like code your stuff in your project the way you're used to. You just have to compile your stuff to, or not compile, but because it's your source code that you have to. So you have to have some sort of script that bundles it or concatenates it, and depending on your language, that can be relatively easy to do, or a bit more complicated. But anyways, that's how it's done. Right. So I don't know, but let's see. Now that's one of the annoying parts of minifying the code, because if it wasn't minified, I would have the line and I could just look at it here, but because it's minified, everything's on line 1. It's like just this gigantic whoop. All right, man. See you later, Super Lugal. So let's replay in same conditions and maybe we'll be lucky and be able to reproduce the problem. Oh, we timed out again. So I wonder if we're actually timing out, or because that's like, although come to think of it now, logging all that stuff is probably not helping. It's an expensive thing to do, and okay, let's instead do this. If node dot children, actually, so reduce was called on null. That's probably not the one though, because I don't see, how could I not have a children array? I always have one. I construct it with, yeah. Did it say on an empty array? Maybe it was on an empty array, so yeah. Length. Then I don't know, just throw. It's going to crash anyways, right? Throw, what information would I like to get at that point? I'd love to get the, I don't know, it's going to be hard to diagnose. Well, maybe the entire node. We'll see what we can get from that. Yeah. Okay. Let's try that. Okay, so maybe no crashes on that one. I have a bad feeling. Yep, timeout. Yep. So that's me throwing. So I get into a situation where I call getBestChild on a node that has no children. How could that even happen? That's local. That is local. There are two places where I call getBestChild. There is in the select. So if node is not fully expanded, then expand it. But if it is, then choose a child. And is terminal. Crap. No reason to think there's a problem with this. Game is over. How do we determine if game is over? Orders filled. Length is bigger or equal to 6. Yes. Okay. So I don't think that's the problem. There's no reason why we'd ever get there with a node that has no children. It just doesn't make sense. So the other option would be here is the other place where I call it. And that's with the root node. Again, does not make sense to have the root node have no children unless... what if I get... What if I... No, but the game would be over by then. Like the only thing I can think of is if I'm in a state where the game is over, right? If I'm in a state where the game is over, then potentially oh, nope. If I'm in a state where, no, that doesn't make sense either. Let's see. Let's take a look at our get valid action or get valid actions player. Valid spells. Valid spells. I'll get this. Oh, it's on the. Okay, we'll get back to it. Valid brews basically goes through the list of client orders and make sure I have enough. Okay, so that's cool. Valid spells. There might be something odd here. Spells a filter. If spell is cast, it's not castable. Okay, it's not valid. We can't use. Otherwise, if this inventory that adds spell at delta. If new inventory is all non-negative, return false. Is not all non. Yeah, so I got to make sure I have enough ingredients to cast it, or if it would put me off over the max inventory. Okay. Okay, so that's fine. Now, let's see. If I have no valid spells and I have no valid brews. Aha. And, okay, so I think that might be the problem here. Damn. So I guess the problem could be that in some situations there's no valid spells. There are no valid brews. I don't have exhausted spells. Well, if I am in that situation, I'm screwed, right? That means I'm in a soft lock or something. Is that what happened here? I think it might be. Oh, crap. Right. Okay. Right. I can't cast a spell. All these are oh, but I could rest. I could rest. Why wouldn't I choose to rest? That rest should be in the list of options there, since I have exhausted spells, right? So I would add resting as an option. So that wasn't it. Although this might be happening. No. Wow. Not quite sure. Best course of action to try to debug this. You'd have to try to run it offline, I guess. Well, okay, let's see. So right now I'm just getting it to throw node, which is not useful enough. So let's see. Let's try to find out. Children, expand is fully expanded. This terminal, parent. That's not useful. That's not useful. That's useful, I guess. See if it'll print out. I don't know if it'll print out because it's an object. We're about to find out. Replay in the same conditions. Now we're timing out again. But sometimes I wonder if it's just like it because it crashes. Because that happens to me sometimes where it's not really a timeout, it's just that it crashes, but it somehow registers it as a timeout. Yeah, I was just wondering that. I don't know. When is the Silver League? Well, it opens today. At what time? I have no idea. Replay in the same conditions. Again with the timeout right off the bat. Boom. Huh. All right, let's pull that way down so we don't get into trouble. While I try to debug what is going on. Replay in the same conditions. How do I feel with this challenge? Feel good. It's not easy, but all right, so I'm not timing out and I won. And I didn't hit that weird error. I guess that's good. Let's play it again. It's good, but it's not good in the sense that we need to find it so we can get rid of it. And that might explain why I wasn't going up in ranks. I didn't really take the time to look at the games that I was losing. If I was losing a certain percentage of games because of timeouts or something, that is an explanation right there. Okay, end up winning again. And yeah, pretty much every time. 77 points. So the Monte Carlo tree search is it's based on randomness a lot. So it's interesting if I get the same results every time, almost. Yeah. But that was different though. Different strategy. So you see this guy, Marome, is ranked 1000th right now. And I just beat him every time, right? So there's obviously, I think I was, we might, there we go. So it's not a timeout, but it's the error that I'm chasing. And it's not logging properly, right? I gotta do something fancier than that. I was just hoping, if I just do toString, is that, no, I think that's what it does. If you do toString, it just does object. All right, let's do something fancier, I guess. What could I get from the state? Deck, no. The client orders, that could be interesting. Information on the players, yeah. Yeah, I guess. Players. My player's always red in my little system. And what could really help us understand what's going on? The inventory, yeah, that could be useful. The inventory, let's get that. Okay, so let's get, all right, so we're gonna need some space here. Let's get that here, that there. We're gonna construct this here. Just call it that. Now we want what do we want? What do we want? We want to get the inventory. Inventory, which will be stat here. Actually, I need to go deeper. I need to get this. There we go. And we'll also want the spells. Although that's, yeah, no, that's gonna, let's just score. That might give us a clue as to what. Oh, let's start with that, I guess. See what happens. Yep, I saw it. Okay. Same conditions. I'm wondering if this, yeah, this was probably already there. I don't think I just introduced that bug. So that would explain that and the timeouts, or maybe the timeouts are related to that. I have a feeling it might be. So yeah, we're winning again. Just gotta retry until we hit that. Those Those bugs are so annoying. Ones that show up only in very specific situations, and we're winning again. And we are winning again. Wow, really? Oh, I guess he got into some kind of a soft lock here. I mean, I could do a quick fix, which is just do a try catch, and if this ever happens, just issue a rest order. But I'd much rather find the problem. Okay, okay. Score 64, that's where we're at. 0, 0, 0, 0, 9. 9 of the, yeah, that's a problem, right? What algorithm do I use? Just right now, vanilla Monte Carlo tree search. So, okay, that gives us a clue. We've maxed out our inventory. And at that point in the tree, right, that's during a search. So that's not the state right now, but we're going down a search. We're trying to, right, so if this is happening here, and it most certainly is, we have a node. It's not terminal. The game is not over. But I can't use any spells because that would put me over the inventory max. I can't probably, anyways, I'm thinking that there's no client orders I can fulfill with what I have in my inventory. So what's left for me to do is to rest. Rest is the only thing to do, but here's the problem. And I'm guessing that that's what's happening, maybe. The problem is, where's this thing? What did I call it? I can't remember. Okay, get valid actions. Right, so right now, my get valid actions is checking to see if there's any valid spells. So presumably there were none because if a spell puts me over the inventory limit, then it's not valid. If it's not castable at the moment, it's not valid. But okay, well, okay, so and there's no brews. I can't brew. There's no client order I can fulfill what I have in my inventory. So far actions is empty. Now I get here if I have exhausted spells. So it is possible that I have no exhausted spell, but all the spells that I have would put me over the inventory limit. So none of them are valid. But I also don't have an exhausted spell. And this is the only thing here in my algorithm that actually adds a rest action as a valid action. So I guess I would probably be able to fix this problem by just adding a rest action if none of these are, so I could probably just remove this and just do if action is empty, then rest is an option. Do I want to do that? No, because I also need rest as an, okay, so I need to do that after that. I need to keep this and say if after all of that you still don't have any valid actions, well then there's something wrong. We don't want you to blow up. So let's just rest. Are you using MCTS in the bot you submitted to Arena? Yes, I am. But it's buggy. And I think that's why the ranking was like, I didn't take a look at, actually we could do that. We could do that. Let's look at the ones I'm losing and see. Yeah, there you go. See that right there? Yeah, okay. That explains it. That explains it. We're going to fix this, and I'm just going to go jumping up in the rankings. I'm pretty confident. Pretty confident. Okay. So yeah, let's just simply say, all right, dude, if for some reason we're in a state where A3, holy crap, 3 if there's yeah. Hey you, thanks for the follow. Hyphen the diff. Okay, if actions.length is no good, then we can just basically just do exactly the same thing. Push a new action. And at that point, I figure I might as well. I thought for sure I had made a like a const. Whatever. Might come back and clean this up later. Action type, rest, ingredients. We don't care, but I was too lazy to make separate classes and interfaces. It's all the same. So let's just give him a, yeah, an empty ingredients. There's no score. There's no price, I mean, and it's not castable, obviously. Okay, this is it. Copper Beardy, thanks for the follow. Or actually, thanks for hosting and rating. Wow. It's amazing. Never had so many people in my channel. That's pretty cool. Hi, everyone. So I'm guessing you're coming from another stream where Copper Beardy was streaming CodinGame challenge. So I'm working on that as well and failing miserably. I'm hunting a bug right now. So I'm in the Bronze League, at the bottom of the Bronze League, with a bot that I thought was good enough to get me like at least in the first third. And I realized it's because I'm timing out, or I have an error that I need to address. It's kind of an edge case, and it was kind of hard to find, but I think I got it. So we might be able to jump up a little bit. Thanks for the follows, guys. So right now my bot is, I had started doing it, it's a Monte Carlo tree search algorithm. I had started doing it in Wood League 1, and overnight on the weekend, my bot that was in the arena at that point, I guess was good enough all of a sudden to get into Bronze League. So instead of switching gears and adding all the Bronze League rules, I just kept going with my Tier 1 rules. So my Monte Carlo tree search at the moment doesn't take into account any of the new bronze rules. It's just like if we were in wood tier 1. But I still think that it would be good enough to go up in ranking. And let's see, are we timing out? We are not timing out. We won that game. Let's play another one. This particular setup seemed to lead to errors, so I'm just replaying the same condition. All right, so we don't have any. Is it difficult to start code challenge game? Is it difficult to start? Like, no, if you're in Wood League 2, they start you off pretty softly. There's not too many rules. You can get by with just a few if statements and a few rules, and you can have a lot of fun just doing that. Again, as you go up in leagues, they add a few rules, quite a bit actually in bronze, and it gets a little harder. And the competition too gets harder, like people you play against. So didn't blow up. It's always good. Not all rules are added over promotion in upper leagues. Oh, I think we might have something here. What happened? Oh, I thought it was a timeout, right? Whenever you see that little dot of color there on the timeline at the very end, you're like, oh crap, what happened? And you're like, oh, as I won, that's what happened. Okay. So it's looking good so far. All right. All right. I think, okay, one last one. So the guy I'm playing against right now is ranked 1000, and I'm obviously wiping the floor with him every time, right? So it was just a problem with like a little bug that would happen. Oh crap, 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 crap. If it was a one-liner, kind of, but it's more complicated than that. It's a one-line fix-ish, as it's often the case. But okay, so I'm timing out here. So I'm wondering if I'm doing this in JavaScript, right? So the garbage collector is not your friend in that kind of challenge, and I have got a Monte Carlo tree search algorithm, which has like it does a lot of looping with a lot of simulations, and if the garbage collector decides to kick in the middle of that, especially towards the end of your like, I tell it you've got 50 milliseconds to run, right? No more than that. But if it goes and we're up, okay, 45 milliseconds, 46 milliseconds, 47 milliseconds, 49 milliseconds, and then the garbage collector decides to kick in, right? And the garbage collector can take like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 milliseconds sometimes. So obviously if that happens, then you're screwed. But the thing is, I'm surprised because I had put that way down. See, I'm actually giving it 40 milliseconds. Now, you can't really suspend the GC from running in JavaScript. I know some other languages, like I think Java and C# give you some access to how the garbage collector runs. Not in JavaScript, in Node, which runs on V8. What you can do is uh, write your code in the way that the garbage collector doesn't want to run, which means don't dispose of anything, which means use object pooling, which is something I'm going to have to look into if I stick to JavaScript and want to keep going with this algorithm, which I think I will, but we'll see. So, all right, just for the sake of just confirming that this is really a timeout problem and not some sort of weird error that disguises itself as a timeout, because that has happened to me on CodinGame, on the CodinGame platform, where I have a bug, there's an error, something throws or whatever, and for some reason, instead of displaying as an error, it triggers a timeout. So let's just put that way down. Let's make it 10 milliseconds. And let's do that, 100 milliseconds for the first turn. So that's probably going to affect performance of my bot in terms of making good choices. Not that it was amazing at that, but it'll be interesting to see. I was beating that guy pretty much every time that the bot wouldn't crash. So let's see if that's still the case. Oh, that's interesting. Wow. Okay, so I get into a soft lock here. That's what happens. But at least, okay, so we know I fixed the bug because this is exactly the situation where I was having big. Um, see what's going on here? I have a full inventory. All my spells are castable at the moment in the sense that they're not exhausted. So my algorithm before would look, hey, can I fulfill one of these client orders? I can't? No. Okay, so that's not there are no valid actions there. Can I cast a spell? And to determine that, it would check if the spells were castable, and it would check if I'd cast a spell, would that put me over the inventory limit, which would make the spell invalid. So, but now looking at all of these spells, they're not valid, right? Because they would put me over the inventory limit, or I don't have the necessary ingredient in my inventory. So right now, so what my algorithm, okay, no actions here, no actions here, no actions, right? Because the way I had set up for rest, I would only allow it to consider resting if there was a need to rest, if I had at least one spell that was exhausted. So in this case, I don't. So that's why I ended up with no valid actions, and that would make my bot crash. So we fixed that. As you can see, it's just resting now. Resting, 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 resting. It made some very poor choices because I didn't give it enough time to think, but I still won. Let's see. So in all likelihood, it is really a timeout issue. Um, and it's just a matter of finding until I can optimize. Yeah, what's the point of waiting though, right? Might as well just rest. One less thing to deal with. Um, okay, so I won. It was much closer this time though. Yeah, so until I decide to actually implement object pooling or something to, you know, calm the garbage collector down, I'm gonna have to reduce significantly the timeout, the time constraint for my algorithm. So we're looking good so far. It did take a few runs for us to run into a timeout issue. Yeah, just to avoid the invalid moves. But essentially, what I'm saying, that's exactly what I'm doing. But I'm saying rest instead of wait. Same thing, really. It would only be a problem if there was some sort of cost to resting, but there aren't. Okay, so we're good. And I won. That's with like very little time for my algorithm to think, so that's a pretty good sign that the algorithm's not too bad. And we're winning again. No timeouts, no errors. That's what we want to see. Okay. Again, crushed it. No timeouts, no error. One last time, and if it works, I'm going to just submit it as is and fiddle with it later. I mean, in terms of maybe increasing the time and implementing object pooling, and then after that, I'll have to go into actually implementing the new rules, which I haven't done yet, the bronze rules. Oh, that was close. Still won it. Cool. All right, let's just test it in the arena and see what happens. Ooh, boom. All right. That's not me. Okay, good. It's like, what's going on? This is me right here. Not so bad. Oh, I love it when people do that, like trash talking in the comments. There was this one contest. This guy had like, seriously, if he didn't have like at least 50 lines of just trash talk randomly appear on, like, I don't know how much time he spent doing that, but it was hilarious. Like, I think it was for Ocean of Code. I don't know if any of you guys were participating in that one in the spring. And you'd have like little submarines going around a map, and you could shoot at the other submarine. You could lay mines. There's a bunch of little things you could do, and the guy had, like, it was contextual too. Like, the trash talking was not just like random; it was dependent on the situation. Like, if you shoot him um, and miss, then he'd say something that would take that into account. Same thing with the mines, or if you did hit him, then he'd say something else. It's pretty cool. I'm like, where does the guy get the time to do that stuff? I barely have time to implement a decent bot. And he's like, oh, come on. What's going on here? It's close. Close. Very close. I'm I'm behind by 2 points. Not so bad. Not so bad. Oh boy. I'm Oh, I also, okay. So 61 to 61. Oh, and I think I end up winning it. Oh no, I'm not blue this time, I'm red. I lose. I'm gonna lose. No. This guy's learning, right? And I'm not. So that's cool. All right, so let's see. We've got 26% done, and I'm pretty much, well, I don't win all of them. At the beginning, I guess I don't know, against who I was. Okay, so I'm going up in ranking, yeah. Let's take a look at these to see if there's a timeout, an error, or something weird going on. Nope, just getting my butt kicked. Which is not surprising, especially since I'm just giving my algorithm about 10 milliseconds out of the 50 I should be giving it because of the stupid garbage collector. Let's take a look at this one. Yep, just get my butt kicked again. This one. All right, we're talking, going up in the ranks. Again, so that's encouraging. At least there's no errors or timeouts. This is the one I was just looking at, I think. Yeah, okay. This one. Nope, all good. Lost it fair and square. About this one. Also good. Hey, wait, did I just win? No, that was a loss, right? Okay, yeah. So that's kind of funny. I'm the one that, did it end because of 100 turns or no? So I'm the one that ended the game by brewing a sixth. I would have lost anyways, right? Is it possible to disable GC in JavaScript? No. Didn't somebody just ask me that? Yeah, it was a while earlier, yeah. So no, I don't, not that I know of. On CodinGame, this is running on Node. which runs on top of V8, and I don't think you have any access to the garbage collector. Like I was explaining a little earlier on, um, what you can do is use object pooling or use some sort of strategy to not dispose of your objects. Always make sure that you're holding on to them somewhere in your code. That way the garbage collector is tricked into thinking they're still useful and doesn't try to dispose of them. But object pooling is a way to do that. Okay, so at least I'm encouraged in the sense that it doesn't seem to crash. We're not timing out. Now, of course, I'm not doing that well in terms of performance, but we can build on that. At least the algorithm is sound. Very cool. There's a loss right here. I want to check out. Yeah, limiting to 10 milliseconds will not go far. Yeah, especially since on top of that, I'm in JavaScript, right? So 10 milliseconds of JavaScript code running is not the same as 10 milliseconds of C++ or Rust code running. They can just like crank out a lot more simulations than I can. That's fine. I knew that going in. My next contest, I think I will be doing in either Rust or C Sharp. C Sharp is also a memory managed language. It's not as fast as C++ or Rust generally, but it's faster than JavaScript. So, all right, and then boom, a bunch of winning, and then I guess I'm getting into territory with people that are closer to my. I can see that in C++ I can reach 60K nodes in one turn. Well, it's pretty good. All right, thanks for the follow, Lemon ZPT. Yeah. So right now I'm just making sure there's no crashes, no timeouts. No, that was a close one. Made the delivery. Very nice. Okay, so I'm pretty confident there's no problem here. Fixed that bug. Reduced the time so there's no timeouts. So I'll probably be able to, I expect that at, 30, 35 milliseconds, like even if the garbage collector triggers, I doubt it'll take more than 10 milliseconds. So I should be okay. And that'll make the bot way better. So that's the next thing I'm going to try once this run is over. Then I'll probably fiddle with object pooling before I actually implement the bronze rules, because implementing the bronze rules is just going to add to the load on the algorithm, right? On the Monte Carlo tree search, there's going to be more potential actions, right? All the learning you can do and taking into account the bonuses and all that stuff. So, oh, and I think I remember reading that there are spells you can actually repeat. So that's another thing I'm going to have to deal with. Yeah, so I'm probably going to, I'm going to look into object pooling before that. Maybe do a little bit of benchmarking and see if I can crank out some more cycles out of this thing. So am I still, yeah, see I'm going up, I'm slowly going up. Yeah, so if I can give the algorithm more time, more thinking time, that should help. Be nice if I could get like Well, I guess like the entire playing field is in the Bronze League right now, right? Like these guys will end up, those guys will end up in the Legendary. All right, guys, I'm going to have to go. Let me, let's raid one of our friends that's also streaming right now. There we go, Zapak. Oh yeah, I watched a little bit of, he knows what he's doing. And he's coding in Python. He's also using some sort of search algorithm. Last time I looked, but I think it was Friday, so I don't know how his stuff has evolved. But yeah, let's see if we can do that. All right, so if I remember correctly, this is how to do it. There we go. Okay, so make sure you say hi for me. And have fun if for those of you that are actually participating in the challenge. Looking forward to pitting my bot against yours. Hope you're having fun and learning a lot in at the same time. Let's see. Is this gonna 82%? Oh yeah, still going up. Still going up. Let's look at one of those just to make sure. Yep, still no timeout. No errors. I'm winning the majority of them. There's a few losses in there. That's always a good sign, right? As you keep going up and you're still winning the majority of your matches. And what's really interesting is that my bot doesn't take. Hey man, thanks for the follow, Adimator. What's interesting is that many of those bots are actually using the rules, the bronze rules. Well, this guy isn't. He's not learning. So let's see if I can find one where I'm winning.